What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Maui Yap. What's up? Shout out to the Adamson Soaring Falcon fans out there. Alam namin nandiyan kayo. Shout out to the Adamson
To my Adamson faithful.
The faithful.
Hindi namin the prophet si Gabna.
Sige.
The Adamson Whisperer has succeeded.
Pero ako, sinabi ko rin sa podcast si Navin na dark horse kong number 4 ang Adamson.
Yan.
Dito, aminin ko, UE pinili ko. Ako lang nag-swerve sa ating tatlo.
That was a good swerve pick naman. Initially, mukhang UE, di ba? At the start, I think Adamson was down 2-10. But congrats to the Adamson Soaring Falcons for making it to the Final Four, the last team to make it. Going up against LaSalle this week, and we'll talk more about that game. Gab, since ikaw naman ang Adamson Whisperer, I wanna hear, anong feeling mo? Were you surprised with how good Adamson was in this game?
No, because we saw it against Ateneo. But before I start, I do want to give a shout out to some Bolero subscribers. My friend Lenvic, who's a new subscriber, who found out about our podcast through his workmate, si Eliza. So, shout out to the two of you. Thank you for subscribing and to listening to Boleros. And so, let's get to this game. As you said, Sam, it was a hot start for both teams, actually. For UE, hitting, they hit a 3 to start this game. John Abate started off good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought in my head, okay, he's been off for a couple of games, has not been getting minutes, but now is the time. John Abate maybe he can get a big game going, but Adamson sort of fought back. I was actually watching the 3-point shots because that's what I said was going to be the barometer for both teams. It ended up being true in the first half, not so much in the second half. I think Adamson had not hit a 3 until the Joshua Yero and the Monty Montebon corner threes in the fourth quarter. They hit all 5 of their threes in the first half, and until that last few possessions in the fourth quarter, they had not hit a 3 because they were executing so well on the offensive end. Since the second quarter, they started feeding Cedric Manzano over and over again. And Cedric Manzano delivered. I think this is a contender for probably his best performance of UAP season 87, maybe of his whole UAP career. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks.
Game on the line.
With the season, the game on the line, Sammy. The
season on the line.
Oh,
season on the line.
The season on the line. Cedric Manzano brings out his best. Baby boy Manzano is not a baby boy anymore. He's a big boy now. And he was big boying his way through that UE defense. They couldn't do anything to stop Cedric Manzano. He was just imposing his will. And kudos to his teammates who were finding him over and over again. They were executing so well. They've been executing like this since the Ateneo game. And I was pleasantly surprised to see them execute this way because they weren't just... At the start, they were looking for a lot of 3-point shots. But I think once they started to go in, now you see the floor open up a little bit more. Now you see UE overplaying, closing out too hard. And that happened so many times. Matt Erolon was able to get into the paint. Matthew Montebon, Royce Mantua, Eli Ramos was able to get into the paint. And over, finding cutters, finding the roll man, fighting the big man in the dunker spot. They were just getting into the paint and getting into the paint, making UE pay for overplaying on those dribble handoffs, overplaying on those picks, closing out too hard on shooters. And it wasn't the game that I expected. Because how can you blame me that the last time these two teams met in the second round, it was a 45-37 game at the end of the game. Adamson had 39 points in the first half, surpassing the total that UE had in their most recent matchup. Diba? So that tells you how different it was, how different this game was. Both teams actually in the first half were executing perfectly. Even perfectly, but they were always getting good shots, except for Precious. I have to question the way Coach Jack used Precious in this game, and actually has used Precious throughout the second round, because he's mainly getting his points through isolation. Alam mo yun? He gives the ball to Precious in the post. He's not, or in the high post, he's not that much of a great isolation scorer. There was si Precious. His footwork is not as clean. He gets called for travels a lot. He's not able to power his way through fellow big men. He's not as strong as them. He's not stronger than most of the big men that he's encountered. And you saw it in this game. One-on-one with OJ Ojerique and even Cedric Manzano, and even si Mario Barasi, he couldn't power his way through. I thought they found something in the fourth quarter when they were running dribble handoffs and pick and rolls with Precious, and he was getting baskets. There was one fake dribble handoff with Devin Fikes where he got a short stab at the basket, and I thought that's how you should play Precious. Like the way they used to do with Noire Mogat, just play pick and roll with Precious, and then eventually you're gonna get them into good spots. I just don't think isolating or posting up Precious Momoway is the best way to utilize him, because he's not. I don't think he's that type of player yet. And we've seen it throughout the season. He struggles when the ball is given to him in the post, and he's tasked to create offense. He does not do it that well. Now, it was a bad game for Precious, compounded by the fact he fouled out and he suffered that injury of a nasty fall. I do hope he's okay. It did not look good.
Precious.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping that he's able to recover and nothing serious had happened, because it was a really bad fall. I think he landed on Matthew Montebon's leg or ankle. So probably bone contact there on the fall. It was a hard fall. He contested a Montebon floater. He ended up landing on Monty. It was not Monty's fault. It was no one's fault. It was really a freak basketball play, an accidental play that happened. Yeah. Unfortunate. And I hated seeing it, especially that this was his last game of the season. I would have wanted him to finish the game, perhaps try to battle it out, because they were sort of making a run in this game in the fourth quarter when he eventually fouled out. So I hated to see that. I do hope he's okay, and I'm sure no UAAP fan wants to see any player injured, especially that way. And both UE and Adamson fans in this game, I think, were cheering for Precious when he was stretchered off the floor. And that's the thing, no? He wasn't able to get up. Yeah. So,
Yun nakakatakot no?
Yun nakakatakot no? I do hope there's no fracture to his spine or to his vertebrae, because that's going to be a pretty rough recovery for Precious. So I do hope that's nothing of that nature. I do hope it's just pain. Maybe na shock lang yung system niya. So I do hope he's okay. I do hope we get word on Precious, because I am pretty concerned. That was a pretty hard fall. On one hand, in the second half, the game kind of slowed down. 39-30 first half. The second half, both teams in the first half combined to shoot 9 threes. At the end of the third quarter, only 1 3 combined for both teams. UE had a 10-point quarter. They went ice cold again. So it's the theme for UE in this losing streak. And Sammy and Maui, I know you like to point out na si Ethan Galang has struggled majority of this losing streak. And it's true, he has. In this game, he struggled as well. I think he launched a 3. His first 3 was off a backboard. Didn't even...
Gino for 7.
Yep. But another guy who I think has been low-key struggling in this losing streak of UE is Welo Lingo. I looked back at his game logs. He's hit 1 3 in the past 6 games. 1.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
that's
against
crazy.
UST.
That's
He
crazy.
hit
That's crazy.
1-3. He has not hit a 3 since he has not hit a 3 since the UST game. So he's been 0 of whatever in against
Wow.
Ateneo, UP, and now against Adamson. In their lone win in the second round against NU, he hit 3 threes. He got hot in that game. But since then, he's been nowhere to
Ice
be
cold.
found. He's been ice cold. Yeah, he just hit 1-3. So that really compounds the struggles of UE.
Parang yun
And
yung two best 3-point shooters mo din nung first round, or two hottest 3-point shooters nung first round when they were winning, di ba?
Oh, yeah, I remember during the first round, I was seeing si Welo Lingo is far and away the top 3-point shooter in the UAP in terms of number of attempts, in terms of efficiency, because he was hitting at such a high clip, at such a high rate, high number of attempts, diba, nung first round. That's before KQ got hot.
Yep. And that's a story of the second round for UE. Their shooters are not hitting their shots, and Precious is not consistent. And this is a sad end for UE. After a 5-2 start, they weren't able to secure. They just needed 2 wins. They just needed
That's
2 wins in the second
crazy.
round.
They
They
hit
just needed 2
second round.
wins.
Yeah, diba we were seeing magic number 7. Magic number 7 or 8 maximum.
And they weren't able to hit that. It was a bad way to end this season. They were really ice cold in the second half, except for the late push by Jack Cruz Dumont in the latter part of the game. But Adamson, man, I gotta hand it to them. They're playing right now their best basketball of the season. Since that Ateneo game, they've been on point. They have executed their plays perfectly. Their defense has still been solid, but their offense is now clicking. Now, whether that carries over to their game against LaSalle on Saturday, I don't know. But I do hope they at least keep the game close or within striking distance. Because throughout this season, for 2 games this season, LaSalle has blown out Adamson. Just imposing their will inside the paint and then finding shooters and then knocking down shots. That's the way LaSalle has brought down this Adamson team, just imposing their size inside the paint. Whether I don't think Cedric Manzano can have this sort of game against that LaSalle front line. So I do think that the shooters have to show up against LaSalle. How many threes did they hit? I think they hit only 7 threes, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 7 threes,
Yeah.
five in the first half, and then those and then those 2 threes in the last minute, in the last few minutes of this game. So I do think that they had to take more threes than their 25 that they took here. They have to take 30 or more because they're not gonna win the battle inside with LaSalle. Yun, I just love that we see Adamson back in the Final Four. They're now the masters of the Final Four playoff. For 3 straight seasons, they've been there. They've won 2.
Out of 3.
Shout out to one of our subscribers who did correct us in our last podcast, saying actually 3 straight seasons sila nag-playoff for the fourth seed, not just 2. So shout out to Adamson. This is a great win. The Adamson Whisperer is definitely happy. The Sultan of Sando, the Adamson Whisperer, definitely happy that they're there. I called it preseason pa lang, our preseason power rankings. I had already picked Adamson. Sabi ko, if there's one team I'm gonna bet on between UST or Adamson or UE or FEU, I'm betting on Adamson because if their offense is not clicking, they still have their defense to bank on. And their defense has been consistent. Their most consistent strength, their most consistent weapon throughout the season. And now that their offense is clicking for the past 2 games, I kind of like their chances to keep the game close against LaSalle. Maybe pull off an upset. Who knows? I'm sure LaSalle is going into this game with a ton of confidence, given that they've blown out Adamson twice. But I think Adamson can give them a run for their money. Sam, Maui, your thoughts on the game?
Just to add, no, sorry, Maui, before we go to you, I think with regards to yung offense ng Adamson, I think ikaw din nag-point out, Gab, na yung previous game against Ateneo, they were clicking offensively, one of their highest scoring games for the season. They pretty much did the same thing here. If nakita mo yung Ateneo Adamson game was 69-55. Ngayon it's 68-55. So more or less the same results. No, good keeping the teams below 60s in the 50s. Tapos they scored like more than 60 points, which is, if you're looking at Adamson, that's a good scoring game for Adamson. Maui, go.
Yeah, and just to add about Maui, sorry. 23 out of their 26 field goals were assisted. That's how much they were finding cutters and finding shooters. That's how much they were playing off the system and just playing off each other, cutting and passing and getting a ton of easy baskets. Because that's how they won this game. They didn't outshoot the opponent from three. They just kept on finding guys for layups and short stabs at the basket. I love it. It's very different from how we've seen Adamson throughout the season. These past two games have shown me a different side of Adamson. I do hope, as I said, I do hope this continues. Maui.
It's gonna be a very tall task, diba, against LaSalle, especially with KQ also getting that FIBA boost. Diba? He was able to play the game against Hong Kong a ton. But yeah, with regards to the game, si Gab said it best. 23 assists out of 26 field goals. I think I haven't seen Adamson play like this. Diba? They found a lot of cutters. I loved how they found Cedric Manzano. Diba? Even yung plays that Cedric Manzano scored were off assist, most of them. They really put a stamp, especially in the offensive end, in the second half. And still continued to play fantastic defense. Diba? They were able to hold UE to the same number of three-pointers. Diba? Anytime you face a team like UE, you have to hit, you have to limit the three-pointers. And Welo Lingo and Ethan Galang again had 0 3-pointers. I think that's how devastating that second round has been. I was actually surprised when si Gab mentioned that Welo Lingo hasn't hit a 3-pointer in 6 games. That's crazy for a guy who originally attempted, I think, 8 3-pointers a game no first round. His percentages should be abysmal probably as of the moment.
He hit one naman, Maui. He hit one in the losing streak. I think it's one
in 6 games.
30 plus. Parang ganun.
Diba? For a guy who I think led the league in 3-pointers made early on, I think averaging close to 3 a game. Diba? Even during the preseason, we were seeing we would see multiple games where Welo Lingo would hit 5 or more 3-pointers. And lo and behold, I would, if you asked me before the season that I'd see Welo Lingo hit 0 3-pointers in 5 out of 14 games. Diba? That's crazy. But that's the story for the second round for UE. They've really struggled. Very devastating. I don't think I haven't seen anything like this in my whole history watching the UAAP. 5-2 to finish the first round, 6-3 at one point after 9 games. And still missing out on that Final Four slot on a season that the number 3 seed is only a 500 team. Diba? We don't see third seeds in the UAAP as 500 team. Diba? Yep. I think some people have mentioned this, that's very rare. Usually it happens sa 4th seed. But that's crazy for UE. I don't know. Maybe si Coach Jack was probably the coach of the year during the first round, but during the second round, he's probably the complete opposite. Not finding a way to reverse this drought, or not finding a way to really reverse what happened to UE the whole second round. They just needed 2 wins, diba? As we mentioned in the to make it to the Final Four, and they didn't make it. It's crazy, diba? 5-2. I don't think I haven't seen this. Correct me, to our subscribers. Correct me if I'm wrong. As a team that started 5-2 ever missed the Final Four in the UAAP. I don't think that's ever happened. But sabi nga nila, diba, a team who goes 1-6 in the first round usually don't make it to the Final Four. Nabaliktad lang sa UE. It happened to them in the second round. Diba? That's why Ateneo and FPU were doomed after the first round. But with regards to Adamson, I think most of the credit has to go to Coach Nash. I saw a post by the resident statistician of the UAAP. Of the 8 years that Coach Nash has coached in the UAAP, he's made the Final Four 6 times. Of the 2 times that he hasn't made it, he was the 5th seed. Diba? So, talk about consistency. Coach Nash, whoever is on his team, whoever plays on his team, whether it's strong, whether it's not, whether he has a strong FSA or a weak FSA, has managed to bring his team to within striking distance, whether it be through a playoff or whether they stick into the Final Four. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches of the UAAP. I think it's one of the reasons why we admire him a lot, diba? Maybe the off-court issues are the only thing that's keeping people from really...
Excluding the off-court issues.
Excluding the off-court issues, it's probably the only thing that's keeping UAAP fans to really appreciate how great Nash has been. Diba? We don't usually recognize people who don't get the championship, diba? But what Coach Nash has done with this FEU and this Adamson teams have been very impressive. Diba? He's been able to do this consistently. I think that's one of the main reasons why Gab also was high on Adamson, just because they have that level of consistency, especially on the defensive end. Diba? But during this game, si Cedric Manzano just was spectacular. Gab was right. I think this is his best game as a UAAP player. He was able to take advantage of even Momoe, not just the other UE players, diba? But what a game! What a game for Adamson. It looks like they're really the team that deserve to make it to the Final Four. And like Gab, I hope that they continue to play hard. Of course, they'll play good defense, but hopefully they continue to hit shots. I think one of the things that's most underrated also in the second round is they've been starting to hit their shots outside. Diba? I think that's one of the things that Adamson has struggled, especially in the first round. And for UE, I don't know how you bounce back from this. I think this is harder to bounce back from than losing players, but maybe Coach Jack can still pull something out of his bag by next season. Maybe he can motivate his players to play hard 14 games, not just during the first round. They have to find a way. For Adamson, this is the way to win it. Diba? When you don't have a lot of shot makers, you win through your offense, through passing, through assist. And it was a pleasure to watch them really execute. I loved how they found their slashers. I love how they found their shooters. And I loved how Cedric Manzano just dominated this game. On to the next.
My most common reaction to this game while I was watching it was, what a pass! That was my most common reaction because I had that over and over. I saw that over and over again when they found Royce Mantua backdoor from the weak side. They found Cedric rolling off a weak side pick. They found Matthew Montebon cutting backdoor. Ang daming times that they were just finding their teammates over and over again. I love seeing it. I'm sure LaSalle, Coach Topex is probably there in the arena watching and scouting the plays.
Pinakita
he
siya.
was.
Naka-block. Naka-block para stealth mode daw.
But yeah, I'm sure he's seeing that and he will be telling his LaSalle perimeter wings and guards, don't overplay. Don't overplay the dribble handoffs. Don't overplay the picks. Keep yourself within distance and deny the cuts because Adamson just look for it over and over again in this game. UE was not able to adjust, and that spelled the difference because when your offense is clicking that well, it's really hard to stop you. Sammy, yeah. Just a note for you from this game. 2 straight games, we've had a highlight from Eli Ramos.
Yeah, actually, shout out to him.
Remember, against Ateneo, he had the Pinoy step over Chris Kuhn, making Chris Kuhn jump off his first step, then reverse layup. What a highlight. And then on this game, the Dipsy do layup with the left hand. What a highlight for Eli Ramos. And like what you said, Sammy, John Abate, why are you closing out on Eli Ramos? Haven't you read the scouting report? This guy can't shoot. Just let him shoot.
The next play na tumira siya, I think it was a 3-point shot he missed, diba? Parang board lang din naman or something. So, yeah, that's how you guard him. But I think Eli Ramos got the Gilas boost also. Seeing his brother play for Gilas, baka na FOMO siya, so he got the Gilas boost. Yeah, you guys said it. Cedric Manzano had his best game. His most during the most important point of his team season, diba? And if you look at his averages, 8.5 points a game, you would say it's not a good season for him kasi we expected Cedric Manzano to dominate, especially since he was clearly the main guy this season, diba? Wala na yung mga vets, wala na sina Jerome Lastimosa. He was clearly the main guy for this team and we expected him to dominate. So if you look at his performance all throughout the season, I would say it wasn't even a good performance. He would average like 6 to 8 points a game. The only times that he would average like double-digit points were losses. Naalala nyo yung mga losses to LaSalle where he would be the only guy who would score. So,
kailangan na ipilit.
Kailangan na ipilit, diba? For me, he hasn't had like a very dominant game na talagang he clearly willed this team to win. And this was the game. And one of the most important games for them, season on the line nga, sabi mo, Gab, diba? But, ang ganda na sinabi mo, Maui, because I think we really need to give credit to Coach Nash Racela. And actually for the other guys for stepping up then. But, I was talking to one of our commenters in the previous episode. Sabi ko nga, Coach Nash is a very underrated coach. So, I really agree with what you said, Maui. And if we go back to the preseason, when we were watching Phil Oil and Pinoy Liga, Adamson wasn't that good. And si Coach Nash downplayed yung performance nila. He really explained. He wanted to play a ton of guys in the offseason, a ton of new guys. He wanted to experiment with different lineups. And I remember si Cedric Manzano played very late. I think sa Phil Oil na nga lang siya naglaro eh. So, he did not play his stars agad nung preseason. He really wanted to give the new guys or other guys a chance to sort of build their confidence and gain experience. And I think it has paid a lot of dividends for them in this season, diba? It has paid off. Marami tayong mga players na we were very hyped about in the preseason, but during the season, medyo okay lang. But with Adamson, we've talked about it. Guys like Mantua, Franzman, they were good in the preseason. They were even solid or even better during the season. These are the guys na Coach Nash brought in, and these guys have stepped up and has made this team very competitive. They look like vets, and everyone is ready to play para sa akin sa team na to. And I think this is what I told you, Gab, diba? I admit, I did not expect Adamson to make it to the Final Four. I did not peg them to be this good. Pero I told you, Gab, I forget, I think it was the Adamson versus NU game. Sabi ko, alam mo, Gab, believer na ako sa Adamson. Kasi I saw that game live and I said, every time nag-change yung lineup, when I saw like a new guy coming in, this guy can play solid minutes. They have like 12 good guys. And sabi nga, we were talking about it, sabi natin, like, you just need 12 good guys on the team. Right? They don't have to be all great, but everyone's good, everyone's solid, everyone's playable. That's Adamson to me. Eh. You have like 12
except
good
Ron
guys
Jones.
You can play. Maui naman eh, nanalo na nga eh.
The Ron Zone. Isa lang siya nandun.
He played.
And isa, di na nga umabot eh. Division 1.
Sorry, na-distract na ako kay Maui. But yeah, and actually I was gonna get to that point, Maui, kasi these guys are solid, they're all ready to play. Sobrang deep ng lineup, they didn't even play Kalisay. Diba? Which you called it, Gab. Sabi mo, they're not gonna miss Kalisay. Even if he gets suspended, they're not gonna miss Kalisay. They have other guys that can replace him. He's replaceable. And that's siguro si Coach Nash was prepared mentally, pati sa mga plays niya. Sabi niya, okay, probably we won't have Kalisay. So, let's just not play him.
I wonder, is this some kind of a sportsmanship thing between Adamson and UE? Diba?
I was thinking about that.
His suspension was rescinded, diba?
Yes.
Baka para wala na masabi.
Para
wala na masabi.
No excuses, no?
Oh, so feeling ko that was kind of a gentleman's agreement thing between, I mean, I'm just speculating, but I think that's how they...
No, I think so too. I agree.
Oh, diba? Diba? Why wouldn't you play one of your rotation guys when he's available? I think it's, diba? I think it's from Coach Nash. He just said, you're supposed to be suspended. You're not gonna play in this game. We're gonna given na si Precious yung na-suspend for being thrown out. We're not gonna play you. So, feel ko ganun nangyari. Anyway, Sam, go.
Yeah, I do. I was gonna say that. And tama ka, Maui, para wala na rin masabi, di ba? Para walang sabihin yung mga tao na, nanalo kayo kasi pinalaro si Kalisay, ganyan. Okay, let's show them that we have 11 other guys that can play just as well. And, wow. Believe talaga ako kay Coach Nash. He doesn't have the same budget or the school does not offer their players the same benefits as other big schools. They're not always the top choice when it comes to recruitment. Kita mo naman, their own players didn't pick them. Ganun, diba? That's how their season started.
May Division 1 players naman
May Div 1 players na ikaw
kasi bakit tuwigil kayo sa mga Ranzons.
Magagalit yung fans sa atin, Maui. But diba? But like I swear, like they have the best high school team last season and none of their vets decided to play for their team. That's how bad their off-season started. And yet they're here. They're in the number 4 spot. Kahit na it's not it's a losing record, 6-8. Final 4 is still a Final 4, diba? So, kudos to Coach Nash and to the players for stepping up. And Cedric Manzano, what a star. For UE side naman, I think you guys pretty much covered it. Definitely disappointing season for them, knowing where they came from. Sabi nyo, 5-2, 6-3 at one point, Maui. But at the end of the day, I just wanna think positively for UE. I would say...
Okay, wait, Sammy.
Yeah.
Before you get to that, let's ask the question that we've asked for the past couple of episodes. How would you grade UE? Sammy, go first. Sige.
Okay.
We wanna think positive, diba? How would you grade UE?
I'll give them... Ano ba binigay natin sa Ateneo? I think we gave Ateneo a D or something like that.
A C.
Okay, I'll give UE a C. They were supposed to be like a B+. Kung nag-Final Four man lang sana sila, maybe a B+. But I'll give them a C. Why? If you think about where they came from, 5-2, 6-3 at one point, dapat we should give them a failing grade. Bagsak talaga dapat. Kasi I just can't believe you couldn't make it to the Final Four. When you were at that spot, you had a chance to even... We're talking about the twice to beat for UE, diba? That's how hyped or how good they were at that point.
Budol.
So, nabudol tayo. So, pag isipin mo yon, they deserve a D, an F. Pero...
Pati yung sariling fans nabudol.
Diba?
They were back in the arena and then they were like, oh God, we're not gonna attend the game. Huwag na tayo manood ulit.
I would give them a D or an F. Pero if you again take a step back and look at the bigger picture, I think they were in 6th place last season. Now they're in 5th. So it was an improvement. In terms of the record, I'm not sure kung ano yung record nila when they were in 6th, but I'm pretty sure they have a better record now. They have more wins now. And you take a look at how the off-season went, wherein you lose a ton of guys again. I think for the 3rd straight season, you lose a ton of guys. Guys deciding to leave the team or switch teams. And most importantly, you lost your MVP candidate in Ray Remogat, diba? Yun palang, with that kind of season, you probably should be in 7th place or 8th place. Just go ask Ateneo. Diba? But no, they battled for the Final Four and nobody expected them to battle for the Final Four. Kung may magsasabi na you predicted UE to make it to battle for the Final Four nung preseason, ginagago mo kami. Because I don't think anybody expected that. So with that, I'll give them a C. Maybe even a C+. Mga ganun.
C+ is kind of high for me for UE. I would give them a C. Now, why the same grade as the last place team in Ateneo? Well, it depends on your expectations. After the first round, I expected UE to be a contender. Diba? 5-2 on the cusp of a twice-to-beat advantage. They could, if a few things had gone their way, they could have been number 2 if they had beaten one of UP or LaSalle. Maybe they could have battled for the top seed. But ending up with a 6-game losing streak to finish their season and not making the Final Four is just tough. Again, sabihin ko, siguro, yeah, yung tama ka sa amin, it's a C for me because in the preseason, we had UE at what? Number 7 in our power rankings. We didn't expect much from this team. Mm-hmm. We didn't expect them to climb to be a possible contender and even battle for the Final Four. Mm-hmm. Diba? So, maybe that you can make them sort of positive, but it's the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows for any fan base, for any UAAP fan for UE this season. After their win against Asal, this community was hyped. They were back in the arenas. They were shouting. They were loud. They were cheering. Pamantasan ng Silangan. Bomba UE, and they were so hyped. And the game winner against Adamson to end the first round. I think yun talaga yung one of their highest peaks, ending the first round with a game winner, 5-2 standing. That was crazy. Yep. And suddenly as a fan, you're like, oh my goodness, we're now sliding. We're sliding. Okay, we still need just one more win to get to the Final Four. Oh my God, we lost to Ateneo. UP sa ating kalaban. Oh no, we're in the playoff already. And then in this game, tinatabakan na tayo sa fourth quarter. We can't shoot anymore again. And just the emotions siguro that run through a lot of UE fans are just crazy. Because just up and just nandun ka na sa taas eh. On cloud 9, you're thinking that this is the year we finally come back to the Final Four after 15 years, and they're not. This, I wouldn't say it was a failure of a season, but a semi-failure given that the second round that they had, just incredible. I thought at least some form of shooting was sustainable for UE. You know, I never thought that the game against LaSalle or their games in the first round, their hot shooting was gonna sustain for the whole season. I mean, no one's that way, diba? You don't sustain that hot of a shooting for an entire season. But at least man lang revert back to the mean. I mean, have a respectable 3-point percentage, a respectable 3-point rate, maybe. But they never went back to that. They were cold throughout the second round. Except for after the game against NU, they've been really ice cold. And wow, I thought that they will eventually start hitting their threes. And wala. Nothing from Galang. Well, si Lingo, si Maga, kinda. Si Abate was on and off. His minutes were up and down. But wow, I don't know where UE goes from here. They have 3 guys graduating from who are all part of their rotation. Si Wilson, si Galang, and si Cruz Dumont. Now you can see possibly si Rainier Maga taking on a much bigger role. Maybe si Hunter Cruz Dumont can take over the role of his brother. They have Cole Cruz Dumont, the other Cruz Dumont coming in. Gab Ubusan, who came from UST. I think he's Ethan. He plays the same way as Ethan Galang, a tall guy who can knock down threes. So I don't know. perhaps we'll see a similar type of UE next season, given their personnel. And hope to God that si Precious is able to come back for next season.
Mhm.
Again, we're praying for that. But I don't know where they go from here. Is it going to be the same old story? This team that likes to launch a lot of threes and run through Precious at times? Or can they find someone? Can they elevate someone like Muling Tapang or a Maga or someone from their lineup that could possibly take the leap into a star player? I'm more bullish on Maga. I've seen a lot of Rainier Maga this season. I thought he was pretty good for a ton of these games. You see the confidence that Coach Jack has in Rainier Maga. He plays him a ton of minutes already as a rookie. So maybe he could develop into someone. Maui.
Yeah. I like that
What-
pick just to add na. I was gonna say that at least the future sort of looks bright. At least they have that star rookie that could potentially be a star. Rainier Maga, definitely. Maui.
Will he stay? Yun
Yun
ang question. Diba?
As-
He's a rookie.
The age-old question with Coach Jack, will his players stay?
Yeah. Ako, I think unfair assessment with regards to UE. I would give them a B for this season.
Wow.
Okay.
Diba? Kasi
Maui out.
if I were to grade their first round, I would probably give an A.
Mhm.
Diba? If I were to grade their second round, I'd probably give them a D or a C. Diba? They were not expected to be here to begin with. Even si Coach Jack, I think sa press conference niya, mentioned, nobody expected them to be in this position. Nobody expected them to play like this during the first round. I think one of the main reasons why they really struggled is because they don't have that go-to guy. Diba? One of the biggest problems they had in the first round, for me, I've been saying this even during the first round, despite UE having a 5-2 record, is Precious Momoe wasn't being utilized, diba? He wasn't able to get his monster stats like previous years. Teams were able to adjust on how to limit Momoe get his touches, how to force his turnovers. So, coincidentally, other players stepped up. John Abate had this, I think, hottest three-game streak. That's when they were at their hottest, diba? Welo Lingo went on a tear and led the league in 3-point shooting for the first 5 or 7 games in the first round. Yun lang. When you don't have that guy, when you don't have that go-to guy, when you don't have a guy like, even sa Adamson, you have Cedric Manzano who you can go to when nothing is working, or Matthew Montibon to force shots. When you don't have that guy, it's pretty hard to win games, especially down-to-wire games, diba, in the UAAP. That's one of the main reasons why you still have to have star power, diba, in the UAAP. Momoe hasn't been that top FSA in the UAAP. He has been neutralized, diba, since the first round. I think during the first half of this game, he had 0 points and 4 rebounds, diba? It was only in the second half or even just the fourth quarter that they started to really feed Momoe because they couldn't hit their shots outside. But despite all this, siguro in hindsight, it's hard to grade them with the passing grade, diba? Just because of the high expectations that was set on them during the second round, diba? Beating a team like LaSalle, diba? But one can argue that probably teams like NU had a good second round but a horrendous first round, diba? That's just the way it is, diba? The UAAP this season was probably one of the most balanced we've seen outside of the top 2 teams, diba? In the UAAP. That's one of the main reasons why our third seed has 7 wins and why our fourth seed had to find the playoff as a 6 and 8 fourth seed, diba? But that's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, even their coach said, diba, nobody was expecting them to be here. Nobody was expecting them to play like that in the first round. That's why I grade them pretty high. Diba? Even in the summer, diba, Ateneo beat them during, I think, the Taiwan tournament leading up to the UAAP. So nobody was expecting to be high on UE, but still, they were able to get to the playoffs. It's just that grabe expectations. Kasi, as we've said on this episode, I don't think we haven't seen this ever in the UAAP, diba? A team that started 5-2 and missing the Final Four. I think this is the first time. I don't think there was a time that a team struggled this mightily in the second round, but it's painful, especially for UE fans. I think this is their 16th year to not make it to the Final Four. Diba? I think that compounds even more, diba? With the type of second round that they had and how they literally felt making it to the second to making it to the Final Four, but not getting that necessary 2 wins just to be able to make it to the Final Four. Sam.
Yeah. Good points. Any last words, Gab, before we go?
I don't know. It's ang daming emotions yung from this game. I was excited for Adamson, but it was cut short by the Precious Momaway injury. I felt really bad for Precious. It's still in my head yung injury ni Precious. I didn't like how hurt he was. I didn't like that he wasn't able to stand up. Hopefully we get an update. No, I'm sure the team did not sulk a lot in the dressing room and just headed for where Precious was. I'm sure. Sana ganun yung nangyari because anytime one of your teammates goes down like that, you want to be by their side. So I'm happy for Adamson, pero yung at the same time medyo down din ako because I saw something like that. I never want to see things like that again.
Yeah, prayers for Precious Momoway. And good points by Maui. I think UE fans, there are things to be happy about in this season. Nobody expected them to battle for the Final Four. So they should be happy also. Just a quick Google then. I think one of you guys Maui, you mentioned if you're a 500 team, in this season, parang 500 team is a third place. Losing record, pwede ka pa mag-Final Four. Actually, in the previous seasons, from season 84, 85, 86, tama ka, yung 500 team has always been like fourth place. Diba? So, medyo pantay-pantay talaga yung mga teams this season. Nung season 82, pre-pandemic pa, a 500 team did not make it to the Final Four. Yung LaSalle, they were fifth place. So, just some random facts. That's it for today's episode. Comment down below your thoughts about that UE versus Adamson game and what you're looking forward to in the Final Four, which we will be talking about in the next episode. Stay tuned for that. We'll do a back-to-back episode. Final Four preview. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye-bye. See you soon.